Greetings! We are back again with another automotive diagnostic video. I think we got a good one today. This car we're looking at has been kind of plaguing me for months actually, and hopefully we'll be able to at least start a journal on it now. Kind of wish I did that earlier, but we'll get to that in a second. First of all, major announcement. As you guys know, with all the craziness going on with COVID and all that, we made available for a limited time the basic electrical series, the basic electrical training series that is normally only available on my paid channel, www.schrodingersboxqm.com. I've made it available on this channel for free for a limited time. I made that series available on this channel to kind of help some of you guys out to get some additional skills that may help you generate some more revenue during this time with all the employment challenges and everything. So that series obviously will take anybody off of the street and turn them into a rather capable electrical diagnostician. We're going to remove that series out of fairness for the people who are paying for the subscription channel. So within a week of the release of this video, we are going to pull that, and it will again only be available on the Schrodinger's Box Quantum Mechanics site. So you can go on there. It's $3.49 a month. That's all. And you get that series as well as a lot of other videos that you won't find on this channel. What you will find on this channel is this car. This is a 2010 Chrysler Sebring that I'm going to go ahead and tell you the history on this because it's been a bit challenging. Quote from a professional automotive shop, so you know this video is going to be good. But basically, the owner of this car brought it into me originally about 3 months ago. The complaint was that it is very intermittent, but sometimes it idles rough and the car just barely moves. It has no power, dies, and then he starts it up again and it may run perfectly fine then for days. And what he did was he brought it into me. I went ahead and looked at it, just kind of ran a general scan looking for anything that might be abnormal, ran fuel trims, ran throttle positions, ran all of the things that I could find anything that was out of the ordinary, and I found absolutely nothing wrong with the car. There was no check engine light. There was no check engine light history. I could find nothing wrong with the car. It drove perfectly fine. The guy actually brought it to me, I think it was 2 or 3 times, maybe 3 times before today, and he's saying, hey, it's doing it this morning. Can you take a look at it? I might drive out to his house. Start the car up, it's perfectly fine. I can't find anything wrong whatsoever. So, again, a lot of people are going to just take a guess or say, oh, these cars are known for this or that, and start changing parts. I have no scientific data whatsoever to go on, so I cannot do anything. I can guess like anyone else, but I'm not about to start changing parts or doing a tune-up or something when I have no data. As a matter of fact, my data indicates that there's nothing wrong. So basically fast forward to this week where the car started acting up for him again. He decided to go ahead and take it into a automotive shop. And here's the report from the automotive shop, which doesn't help much. First of all, it says there is a check engine light on. That is good news. If I find there's a check engine light on here, then that is going to give us hopefully some very good direction. I did tell the owner if he gets a check engine light, bring it into me immediately. That would be a good direction. They say they have a check engine light. They do not say what the code is. They are recommending, here it is, they're recommending replacement of the throttle body. This car has the electronic throttle body, drive-by-wire, some of you guys know it as. They're recommending replacing the throttle body, doing a fuel service, doing a transmission flush, and a tune-up. That is what it says here. And the total is $2,480 something. So the guy brought the car to me, wanted to see if I could take a look at it again. Oh, by the way, $179 for that diagnostic, incidentally, too. My diagnoses are always free. Not sure why he brought it there, but whatever, that's what they're saying. So what we're going to do today is kind of validate if the car really needs like, what, $2,800 in service to get this problem fixed. And of course, we're going to identify exactly what's wrong here. So the first thing I want to do is find that check engine light. The owner just pulled it into the garage here. So let's start there and see what we get. Okay, and we have a problem. There is no check engine light on right now. Hopefully I'll be able to pick up the historic code on this, but right now there's no check engine light. Let's just make sure the bulb works. Check engine light shows up there and goes off. There is no check engine light. So the other thing too is the car sounds like it runs fine. Oh, well actually, you know what? It doesn't. So I'm stepping on the gas pedal and the car is really not responding. RPMs don't go above about 1800 no matter how much I push down on the pedal. Now they're going up. There, now it's working. That's better. So it looks like based on that, we may have a throttle body problem. Now it's working. But a second ago, it definitely was not. Car is fully warmed up. That is the first time I have seen any kind of a symptom with this car. It also hesitates a bit, even though it's responding much better. When I first hit the gas pedal, there's definitely a lag. Kind of hard to feel on video, I know, for you guys. All right, I realize it's really difficult for your guys' perspective to detect these stumbles and hesitations, so try to give you a look at this. We'll look at the tachometer here, and I'm going to hit the gas right now. Listen very carefully for the stumbling sound, and also as soon as I say now, I'm going to hit the gas pedal. You'll notice there's going to be a delay in that tachometer. All right, hitting the gas now. Didn't really do it so much that time. Let's let it settle down, try again. Hitting the gas now. There's a little bit of a stumble, and there is a delay. Did it again there. When it's already at higher RPMs, it's very responsive. Hitting the gas now, now, now. But at the lower RPMs, which could also indicate vacuum leak, obviously. Hitting the gas now. See how there's that delay, and you can hear the engine hesitates. Pretty indicative of vacuum leak. Now, of course, previously I found no evidence of a vacuum leak on the car based on fuel trims. Another thing that could cause that would be low fuel pressure. I did check fuel pressure. It was fine on this car. But now, based on this behavior, it does feel like the throttle body may not be responding. It feels more like that than a vacuum leak to me. Let's go ahead and look at that check engine light. I think what we'll do, just because we haven't used it a while, is use our launch scan tool. Really do like this thing. This was a tool that I reviewed from my friends at Launch. This is the CRP Touch Pro, and they were kind enough to let me keep it. And this has actually been kind of my go-to mobile tool, to be honest. So let's see what we got here. Oops, no, it's a Chrysler. Hopefully we can still read the historical check engine light code. This has a 16-pin ALDL. Can automatically search. Sometimes that works. It did. Wait a minute. Did that say Avenger? Hold on. Automatically search. No, Sebring Avenger. Okay, good. System scan. This takes a second. Okay, let's look at powertrain. Still no check engine light. Read fault code. We have a IAT high. So as you guys know from your basic electrical, our first thought with a high voltage circuit is going to be an open. That goes without saying. So not quite sure the design on this. I believe most likely the IAT is built in with that drive-by-wire throttle body. Not totally sure. But that's going to be an open. Now, it doesn't appear we have one right now because we don't have check engine light on. Let's get some live data. One of the first things, let's see if that's still open right now. See if we can find IAT. Oh, there it is. IAT temperature volts. No, it's definitely not open now. It's working. The car is still hesitating a little bit, not like it was before. A second ago, you could push the gas pedal down and the RPMs wouldn't move at all. Obviously, the throttle wasn't opening is what my thinking was at that point. Let's actually get the temperature on there, make sure it's not negative 40. AT temp, yeah, this is going to show probably about 100 degrees with that voltage. 142, and that's probably about right. It's definitely not open. Let's check some fuel trims here. I'm going to pull up a map as long as I'm there. Throttle blade position would be good. Let's get the throttle percentage. Where's fuel trims at? Pull up desired TPS as well. Okay, am I losing my mind, or do we not have fuel trims on here? Is that long term? What about a short term? Oh, there we go. Okay, got it. It's kind of named weird on this. Let's see what else we got here. Accelerator pedal position, we'll take that. Engine speed. Okay, I think that's enough to get us going. Sometimes on these later model cars you can get, there's a rail pressure sensor, and we can get rail pressure for the fuel. I don't see that available here, but I really don't think this is a fuel problem. If it is, we'll see it in the fuel trims. All right, so we got a little bit high on the long term, not enough that it would cause these symptoms. A little bit of a vacuum leak somewhere, I would say. Although total trim, well, yeah, total trim's a little high. A little bit, but not enough to cause the car not to go. Let's look at the throttle positions here. So that seems to respond. So what I really needed to do is do that thing where I hit the gas pedal and nothing happens. And I want to see if we don't have an accelerator pedal position input. Okay. Yeah, the voltage doesn't go up very high. Nor does the percentage. And actually, I mean, some of that's the fuel cutoff because of the RPMs. But it's definitely not proportionate. Yeah, it's kind of all over the place, actually. And that voltage output is definitely not consistent with the position. Oh, now it's not. So I've got the gas pedal all the way down, and there is no... Initially, there is, looking at TPS 1 volts right there. Gas pedal's all the way down. There's no response from the throttle position sensor. None. Yeah, I'm hitting the gas all the way down, and there is no response from the car. Now there is. Let's try that again and look at the RPMs. Barely go above 2,000 RPM. Gas pedal's all the way down. There is no response from that throttle body. My guess is that throttle body's not opening. All right, well, that is why I wasn't filming it earlier, because earlier all I was doing when I was trying to film it is stepping on the gas pedal, getting perfect response, no data from the scan tool. So I'm thinking, well, what kind of video is this going to make? But luckily we have something here. We do have a direction that we're going to go, and that is going to be towards the drive-by-wire system on this car. So I do agree with the technician. Most likely this car is going to need a throttle body. We're of course going to confirm that with our electrical tests. Interesting that the only code that we were able to pull was a IAT code. I don't know. Not sure how to explain that. We just have an intake air temperature code, but we definitely have some kind of issue with that throttle body. So let's see under the hood what we've got and see what kind of tests we can do to confirm. We look right here, we've got our electronic throttle body system there. Looks like it's going to be easiest to access that probably from under the car to get to the electrical wiring. And that means I'm going to have to get this car up on jack stands and get out of this white shirt. So we will be back. You know, actually, first, I just noticed something. That right there is obviously an IAT. So it's not on the throttle body assembly. And this, I can tell you, is going to be independent circuit. So the only code we have is that 0113, I think it was. It's I gotta honestly say it is more likely for me to believe that when the professional technician was doing whatever diagnostics he was doing, he may have unplugged this to remove the air cleaner, something like that, and maybe caused that code. I don't know, but I really don't believe that we have a problem with the IAT based on what I was seeing earlier. So what we're going to do to confirm this, let me bring this back up. Let's stay true to the channel. Let's do both a traditional basic manual testing of this, and then also we can use the scan tool for those of you guys that have that technology. So let's get DVOM set up here. What we're going to do is just do basic voltage measurement here. So we're going to measure voltage drop across the thermistor here. Just basic electrical, like in that video series. So let's see here. Man, my eyesight's not what it used to be. Having trouble back probing this. There we go. That should do it. All right, there we go. Okay, so we got 2.43 volts. Going to unplug this. We should see 5, of course. And there's our 5. Plug it back in, back to where we are. Kind of wiggle it around. Mess with the wiring a little bit. And make sure those back probes are in there nice and good. Yeah, and I'm not going to be able to get this to not read correctly, as you can see. I don't believe we have an issue with the IAT. We can also look at the scan tool. Okay, got our scan tool reading there. Going to go ahead and unplug this. That would cause the circuit high open. We would then see the 5 volts on here, and we would see negative 40 degrees typically is what you'll see with an open negative 40 and 5. Plug it back in, works fine. We can also make sure we have the full temperature range capability here. I'm going to grab a paper clip. Okay, back over here. Going to jump these terminals here. Oh no, you're going to blow the PCM, man. No, we're not, because we understand basic electrical, because we spent a minimum of 5 hours reviewing those videos that took me years to learn. We have full voltage drop across thermistor, yet we're still able to read variation. No other explanation scientifically. There must be an internal resistor at the PCM. Therefore, I'm not afraid of blowing my PCM. All right, so we're going to short circuit that, and let's look at our scan tool. Obviously, we should see perfect 0 with no load. There it is, perfect 0. Take it out, 5. We have full range of detection on this IAT circuit. I don't know why there's an IAT code. I don't believe there should be. Let's plug this back in. Hey, it still works, unbelievable. I don't know why there was an IAT code. I will tell you this, I'm not worried about it. There is not an IAT problem with this car. And even if there was, it wouldn't be causing those problems. So we're going to dismiss the IAT based on that testing. Let's get to that throttle body. All right, this is hardly optimal for filming, I recognize. But to make this easier, what I did was unplug the harness to the throttle body and removed a bit of the protective sheath so that we could get a look at the wiring here. We've got 6 wires here. I was kind of expecting 5, of course. My guess is that there's probably a second throttle position sensor on here. Some models have that. What I want to do is, it's just going to be really hard to do this with it back probed. So sometimes you can unplug it, set your back probes, plug it back in. I just want to see if that's going to work. And it probably will, actually. I'm going to test as much as I can with this thing unplugged. One of the first things I want to do, obviously, is verify my 5-volt reference. Kind of liking this pink one for that. Let's see if we can verify that we got the full 5-volt reference. I suspect we do, because even when this thing wasn't functioning, we were still getting TPS voltage references on the scan tool, indicating that our 5-volt reference probably is working. I believe I've got the DVOM and my wiring in view here. So obviously, first thing I want to do, we're going to see it. We're going to have 5 volts on that 5-volt reference. There it is. Okay, no surprise there. Okay, so now what we want to do is verify TPS ground, and actually that, I'm not quite sure if I'm going to be able to verify that without wiring diagram. So what I'm going to do is try to find the ground against the 5-volt reference here. Let me make sure that 5-volt reference is still back probed. Should get 5 volts. There we do. Now the only trouble is we've got a couple of motor wires in there that are going to show a ground. So I'm going to have to get a wiring diagram here. Okay, I got my wiring diagram, and it indicates that this violet wire here, kind of a blue with a violet tracer, actually is going to be our TPS ground. So I know you guys know how to read wiring diagrams, because if you didn't, you'd be on the pay channel learning how to do it. So that should give us our 5 volts there, if that ground's working, and I'm very positive it is. Oops, my 5-volt reference came out. Hold on. Yeah, it's always tricky doing this. There we go. Okay. That looks like our battery's getting a little bit weak too, maybe. Okay, so that's not surprising. What I am worried about is the function of the wiring for the motor. I'm not quite sure how this particular motor works, if this is going to be some kind of stepper design or something, but the easiest way, in my opinion, to do that, you know what? There's a brown and dark green for our second throttle position sensor. Hold on a second. Let me measure that one too. Although again, I don't suspect that the TPS is the issue. I believe we're getting signal to the motor, and the motor's just not working. That's what I believe is going to be the issue. See if I can test that TPS number 2. All right. Let me verify my electrode is grounded. Okay, there's the 5 volts, so we are. And then we need a brown with a dark green. All these wires look brown to me. Brown with a dark green. Is that it there? Nope, that's brown with an orange. There's a brown with a dark green right there. Yep, that works. Okay, so what I want to do now is, I don't know the design of this exactly, but I believe the best way for me to validate this is going to be using an oscilloscope, looking at the response with the motor compared with the throttle position sensor. So let me leave that one back in here. Where was that? That was a brown with a dark green. Sorry, I know this camera work is probably not the greatest here. All right. And there goes my meter. I wonder if I can also get the snorkel back on, because I imagine this isn't going to be very happy without the snorkel in place, but I still want to be able to reach my wiring, so let me do that first. What we're going to do is grab our oscilloscope real quick. We're going to probe the motor negative and positive, so that's going to be dark blue and light green, and a dark blue and violet. Here's a dark blue and violet. That's motor positive. Dark blue and light green will be the motor negative. There's dark blue and light green right next to it. Could do this with a DVOM if you had a second DVOM too, but it'd be a lot more accurate with the scope. All right, now we want to make sure we don't cross up anything for sure, because that is going to blow PCM, obviously. Looks good to me right now. All right, let's see if we can plug this in with all of this contraptions on here. Not going to be easy to do. Another way I could do this is I could poke some holes in the wire, which I'm not opposed to doing, by the way, but I know a lot of people get nervous about that, which is funny. They don't understand what I'm doing here, but they just get nervous about poking a hole in a wire. I guess you can understand that. That's easy. I'm not afraid to poke a hole in a wire. I just use some of that liquid tape kind of wire repair stuff to cover it up afterwards, and I don't have any issue doing that. All right, this is being a little stubborn. Yeah, that's why I don't do videos like on brakes and stuff like that. Every asshat knows how to turn a wrench better than me, because there ain't no brain work in that. And all you do is just get a bunch of people that have no idea what's going on, but boy, they can sure critique you. With stuff like this, that doesn't happen very much. I kind of like it. If people do critique it, they usually know what they're doing. Not always, though. I'd have just replaced the throttle body based on the sound of it. Get a lot of that. All right, I'll be back after I get this thing plugged in. Oh, just got it now. There we go. Okay, now that we got this set up, let's look at our strategy here. So this we don't really need, the DVOM. That's connected to the throttle position sensor one. That's just for, I did that for you guys who wanted to see how to do that without scan tool. Don't even know why that's in the shot. We don't really need it. But this and this are the important ones. So this is our motor activity on the electronic throttle control. I think they call it ETC, electronic throttle control. And when the motor opens and closes the butterfly, we're going to see a definitive pattern change on there. Don't have to understand what it means, but if the throttle body is working, then when we hit the gas pedal, you're going to see that change. Of course, you'll also hear the RPMs change and everything too. This is the accelerator position, pedal position sensor here. Could have also done this with a DVOM, but I'm already pissed off I had to lay down on the floor and get dirty once. So we're doing this one through the scan tool. We already did this before, and I didn't really explain why I believe the throttle body is bad here. This is going to make sense to you now. Oops, let's bring that back up. Battery saver there. So what this is think about this. This is a drive-by-wire system. It's an electronic throttle control system. It does not have a cable from the gas pedal to the throttle body. It is a potentiometer that the gas pedal position uses this electronic potentiometer to sense the position. So think about this. There's two ways we could get this problem that we've discerned so far. One is you hit your gas pedal and then the motor doesn't respond. If the motor doesn't respond, of course, throttle position sensor won't respond because you don't have a change in the butterfly position in the throttle. So you hit your gas pedal, motor's dead, nothing happens, you need a new throttle body. That would be a given. But there is another variable, and that is it is possible that the accelerator pedal position is never being detected in the first place. So in other words, you're hitting the accelerator, but it never sends a signal to open the throttle accordingly. Well, in that case, you would be an idiot to change the throttle body. The throttle body's just not getting the signal. So what this is so I can determine when I hit the gas pedal, are we getting signal to the throttle body for it to open? If I hit the gas pedal and this still stays at 0, or it's not proportionate with the accelerator position, if I floor the pedal and this only goes to like 15% or so, the throttle body is not your problem. It is your accelerator position sensor that is the problem, and it's not sending the signal. And then that would have to be replaced. So what we're going to do is see if we can get this thing to act up, because obviously if it doesn't act up, we're going to have a problem. We should see the accelerator position change according to my position with my foot, and I believe we're going to see that. And when it acts up, you're not going to see activity from the motor or throttle position sensor. So that's what I believe is going to happen. Let's go ahead and find out, see if we can get this to act up. And sure enough, when I opened the door, I moved. Sorry guys, hang on. All right, hopefully all of those are in the shot and we get this thing to act up. And of course, it's working perfectly fine right now. Well, so we can see the accelerator position does read, and also so does the motor response for the throttle body, and if it's still in view, throttle position sensor. So I can tell you right now there's no hesitation, it's working fine. Let me keep doing this until I can get it to act up again, and if I get it to act up, we'll see which of these is failing. Okay, I can get it to act up now. We can see that our throttle position, I'm putting it all the way down and letting it up, and it is reading proportionately, but the motor does not respond. And now it is. Now it's working again. Now it's working again. Yeah, it is a very intermittent problem for sure. But when you hit that gas pedal, it does change the accelerator position. However, the throttle body does not respond. No question about it. They made the correct call on this. It does need a new throttle body. I don't know that it needs an additional $1,500 in transmission service and fuel service and all that. As a matter of fact, it doesn't, because we saw the fuel trim numbers looked pretty good. So if anything, there's probably a small vacuum leak on this somewhere, but it's really irrelevant. This car needs a throttle body, so there you go. Finally, I got this one conquered. Man, this one was driving me crazy because honestly, there was times that I played with this thing up to 2 hours and never got it to act up like that. And now it's it's been a lot more consistent with that intermittent problem than it was before. But gosh, it just wouldn't act up before, and it wouldn't even act up for the owner except every once in a while. But as you can see, when it happens, yeah, the car's not going to go anywhere. The throttle body doesn't open. But as is common with electrical intermittent issues, a lot of times they do become more consistent over time as that failure becomes a little more defined. So we nailed this down. I'm going to have to order a throttle body for it, so unfortunately won't be able to show that final fix. And you know, I know you guys like to see that, but the bottom line is that it's definitive. We know signal's getting to the throttle body, and it is not opening all the time. But we want to be absolutely sure before you replace one, because they're really expensive, and there are other things that can cause that problem too. Including things not even related with the throttle control system. Remember, bad vacuum leak could do something like that. Fuel pressure problem can cause symptoms like that. You can't diagnose off symptoms, and you can't just pop the hood, look around for things that are wrong, and think that you found it, because that car is going to come back on you. I'm sure we would find something here with a vacuum leak if I did a visual inspection. Send the car back with the owner, the same problem happens. You know, yeah, you fixed the vacuum leak, but you didn't fix the problem because you didn't draw a baseline. That's the importance of what we did. We drew a baseline, we determined where the problem was, and then after I replaced this throttle body, we're going to show that that baseline now has changed to proper operation. That's how we know what we found wrong is going to fix the problem. Science. So, thanks for watching. Hope you found this helpful. We will be back with some more videos hopefully soon. Take care out there.